Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's featured Reddit stories are from MaliciousCompliance. Story 1 is by OddZone4359. Boomer got malicious compliance on me. Warning, this is wholesome AF. I did Google the term wholesome. I don't think that's what they mean here. And I did read through this one and I read a couple of the comments. What they mean is wholesome. WHOLESOME, not wholesome, because wholesome is an entirely different word. This is wholesome AF. This is also a throwaway account because anyone who knows me will be able to ID me from this story. I have a hobby that I turned into a small business. It's not a lot of money, but it's kind of nice, and it's a thing that I do enjoy doing. Over the last 5 years or so, I have developed a reputation as a man of my word and someone who provides a great product at a fair price. I live in an area that has a lot of vacation homes around a lake. These homes are owned by people who have $500,000 or more to spend on having a place on the lake to go on weekends during the summer. Mary and Steve were two of these people. Mary and Steve own a couple businesses. They are known for treating people fairly. Even people that they have fired will tend to acknowledge that they had it coming. Mary stopped by my shop back in September. She wanted to hire me to do some work for them, for Steve's Christmas gift. I could do what she wanted me to do. I gave her a price tag of $5,500. She agreed instantly. We shook hands and I went to work. I got it finished up by December 20th, just in time. I had to take a few days off my regular job to make it happen. Mary was thrilled with the results. She went on to get me a check and she wanted to write it out for $11,000, double what we had agreed upon. I declined, telling her the $5,500 was what we agreed to and that was all I was going to take. December 26th rolls around and Steve shows up thanking me for this Christmas gift, gushing over the craftsmanship, then complains I wouldn't take the bonus money that was offered, and I explained to him Mary and I agreed on the price. We shook hands on it. A deal is a deal. Steve says to me, "Well, at least let me buy you and your girlfriend dinner," 21 times. He had a big grin on his face. I should have known he was up to something. I thought about it, thinking local restaurants, and agreed. Then he said, "My choice, any place I choose, all on my dime." In hindsight, this should have clued me into the fact that he had something up his sleeve. I smiled, laughed, and said okay. The entire month of January went by and I didn't hear anything from Steve and Mary, which was fine. We were not exactly in the same social circles. At the end of January, all of a sudden, my girlfriend got super happy, like giddy. I knew she had a secret she was keeping from me, but I wasn't sure what. She told me to pack my bags for a Valentine's Day trip. We would be gone 10 days, and bring my passport. We would leave on the 10th of February, 19 days ago. We got to the airport, and who would you guess was there? Steve and Mary. I was shocked. Steve said he had a debt to pay and owed us 21 meals at time of place of his choosing, and he chose Rome over Valentine's Day. I tried to say no. He threw my words back in my face. A deal's a deal. The four of us spent the next week in Rome, Italy. Steve and Mary paid for our flights, hotel room, and 21 meals. All of our tours and transport was on us. We got back home the 22nd of February. We had a great time. A deal's a deal. It sounds like they have a lot of respect for you, and you have a lot of respect for them, so why not? Go enjoy yourself. If people want to pay you that much extra somehow, then they might as well. It sounds like a really nice thing. Our next story is by Brew30. A friend charged a tow fee because he wouldn't trust my automotive knowledge. Back in the early 2000s, my friends and I were at a bowling alley. As we went out to leave, he couldn't get his car started. I asked if he wanted me to look at it since I've been working on a car since I was 14, and he said no, that he knows as much, if not more, about cars than I do. So the tow truck arrived. They asked me to steer it as they pushed it out of the parking spot. I got in, put it in park, started the vehicle, backed it out, and asked the tow truck driver if he wanted me to drive it up onto his flatbed, or if he wanted to pull it up. Everyone, including the tow truck driver, burst out into laughter. My friend was livid. "Why didn't you tell me that was the problem?" I said, "You told me you were more experienced than me and didn't need my help." From then on, he never doubted my automotive knowledge. So, what gear was it parked in? Did he have the parking brake on? Because usually if you park it in anything other than park, it's going to roll away once you take your foot off the brake. Just makes me wonder. I used to have a standard vehicle. I'm assuming that's what this was as well. Our next story today is by Active Ad 5869. Company wants us to bring our own workwear with any logo? I work for a courier company which hires employees as independent contractors to skimp out on paying tax and benefits. I work diligently, but I lost any goodwill towards them for the above aforementioned reasons. They also require us to wear high-vis clothing while delivering. We pride ourselves on next-day delivery. One courier can deliver to up to 50 different businesses in one day. The way deliveries work is that the sender hires us to deliver to the receiver. The receiver has no clue which company was hired to deliver to them. The only way the receiver would know would be by looking at our uniform. I live in an area where it frequently gets cold and windy. I have a waterproof high-visibility jacket, but there's one catch. It had my old company's logo on it. As I already lost all goodwill towards my current employer, I just bore that. I have been delivering for my current company for the past 3 years, and in that time, have had countless receivers remark on how good and speedy my company is. I've even seen a few reviews for my old company from business clients I delivered to in the capacity of my current employer. That's what they get for trying to cut corners and skimp on paying people properly. They won't even buy uniforms that have their logos on it. Their business is going to suffer over time for it. What a silly thing to do. Our last story today is by Affectionate Yam 8886, which begs the question, how is a yam affectionate? This is not a mistake. Last year I was ordering an upgrade for the server room at work. It was a large, expensive upgrade that cost over $500,000. If you have ever had to call a manufacturer to order equipment at this amount, you may know that once you get a good reputation with a manufacturer, they tend to cut red tape for you to maintain a good working relationship with your company. I, in the past, have bought equipment for my personal use at home, and it takes forever to get a rep on the phone, and they often screw you on the deal. While I was making the order with the manufacturer, I inquired about getting personal equipment to see if it would be possible to make a separate order for myself with my own money. The rep had no issues with it and was happy to make a second order. He placed both orders and even gave me a company discount for my order. Now, I did make it perfectly clear the second order was a personal order and not in any way connected to the corporate account or order. He confirmed this and the order was locked. A few months went by and the equipment showed up in the loading dock at work and everything was in order. However, my order never arrived at my house. I attempted to contact the manufacturer but got put on hold for hours. I gave up for now and I figured I would try again in a few days. The next morning the equipment showed up. It was an exact match for the equipment that was sent to my work. Now, keep in mind the order I placed for my house was a blade server that was just over $6,000 US. This was not what I ordered. I went into panic mode as I can't afford this equipment, and when they bill me, I will be screwed. I checked my bank account and I found no charges yet. Now I'm really panicked, as now I think they billed it to my company, effectively double charging them. I expect I will get fired. When I returned to work after my weekend, I emailed billing and got a copy of the invoice. Well, they didn't bill my company for the equipment sent to my house. Now I'm really confused. So at this point, I drop it. It's a pain to get them on the phone and I can't call the corporate line when it's a personal order. A month later, I got an invoice in the mail with a late charge for failure to pay. Okay, now I can get this fixed. I see they want $6,000 plus $250 for late charges. That's odd. I called the retention number and I got a rep. I gave her the account number and she told me she needed to transfer me to a manager due to the amount. Okay, cool. The manager picks up the phone and I try to explain the bill is wrong and the equipment they sent wasn't what I ordered. And he immediately cut me off with, "You need to pay the invoice. You're in violation of the contract and we will sue you if you don't pay it immediately." I tried again to explain the equipment issue, but again he cut me off and demanded I pay. So I told him I would take care of it then. I said I'm sorry for being an inconvenience and I will call my bank right away. I then confirmed the bill amount and the part order number from my equipment labels. He confirmed it and said, "See, there was no mistake." And as I was about to hang up, I know I heard him say in a smug tone to someone else, "That's how you deal with poor people." Called my bank and got them to unblock the transaction. It was stopped for fraud alert. The amount was paid. I am now the owner of $500,000 server room in my basement. A few months later, I had to order some more connectors for the fiber lines and spoke to their rep again. I inquired about buying personal devices again since the last time went so well. Apparently they can't do that anymore. Something about a manager fraud investigation. Can't imagine what that's about. Companies like this that have this much money going through, I'm surprised that they notice it all. This is like a drop in the bucket for them. Down in the comments by XASDFXX, this happened to me. Not to that extent, but here's my story. Work bought a ton of Macs. If you do that, you get perhaps a 10 to 15% discount off the top. They also, as a perk to employees, cooperated with Apple to let employees order laptops with the same discount. This was a program Apple offered. I bought a $3,000 Mac laptop through this program. My card was charged, the laptop arrived a week later, all was good. A month later, I got an email from Apple apologizing for the shipment delay and refunding the purchase. In a fit of honesty, I called the support for the employee purchase program and said, "I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I have the laptop on my desk." The dude was like, "Well, you're gonna have to call some other caseworker and blah blah blah," and I told him I was not. While I was prepared to be honest, I was absolutely not going to spend a ton of time over the phone attempting to straighten out their F-up. They had a one-time offer to, in the next 10 minutes, get this straightened out. My free laptop was awesome. All they would have had to do is say, "Okay, we're going to reverse the charge as long as you're okay with that, since you say you have the laptop in front of you," and he would have probably been fine with it. Do it right there and then. Another story shared in the comments by LadyGeek1969. I'm still waiting for the fallout on a business order of mine. Last year we placed an order for 40 laptops, 20 monitors, and some backpacks. There was a mix-up with the laptop delivery, but we eventually got the entire order. I was looking for the invoice to see if we had anything outstanding for the year and saw that we only got invoiced for the monitors and the backpacks and one laptop. So I reach out to our vendor rep, give them all the info, and they tell me those 39 other laptops were diverted back to them for the bad address. I tried to explain that yes, we really did receive all 40 laptops and they should probably check their systems. They, quote, put a trace, quote, on it and never got back. I forwarded the whole thing to the team that handles the vendor and still nothing has come up. Fair enough. If you're not upset about missing money for the 39 laptops, I'm perfectly happy not caring about it either. It's fine. They have insurance for this sort of thing, right? If money suddenly goes missing, there's money for mistakes in the budget. Anyway, our stories for today have come to a close. In this specific room, the heat's not working and I am frozen. So until we meet again, have a warm day.